Wrestling fam, welcome back to Wrestling Pro News, your ultimate source for the most electrifying and in-your-face stories in professional wrestling. And tonight we are diving headfirst into one of the wildest, most unexpected, and yet deeply symbolic moments to hit Monday Night Raw in years. A moment that has left the WWE Universe buzzing with equal parts shock, satisfaction, and anticipation for what comes next because Roman Reigns, the tribal chief himself, finally put an end to Bronson Reed's mockery by ambushing him and reclaiming his sneakers, an act that may look like a simple personal victory but in reality carries layers of meaning tied to respect, family, dominance, and the fragile balance of power in WWE. For weeks, Reed has been tormenting Reigns by teaming up with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, executing brutal attacks that left the tribal chief vulnerable and humiliated, and each time after delivering his tsunami splash he would bend down, untie Reigns' sneakers, and steal them, walking away with the arrogance of a man claiming trophies from his fallen prey while taunting the world by calling himself the tribal thief, a calculated insult that was designed to undermine Reigns' authority as the tribal chief and to ridicule the cultural pride and symbolism that his position carries within the Anoa'i wrestling legacy. Social media exploded each time Reed strutted backstage or appeared in promos with Reigns' Jordans, waving them around like stolen crowns, laughing in the face of a legacy that had been built on dominance. And fans both booed and buzzed because they understood the disrespect ran deeper than just a stolen pair of sneakers. It was a challenge to the very identity of Roman Reigns. The build-up to this moment traces back to Clash in Paris, a pay-per-view that reshaped the WWE landscape when Jon Moxley made his shocking return to the company, Brock Lesnar decimated John Cena, and the Og bloodline led by Reigns and Jacob Fatu clashed with chaos across multiple storylines, creating an unstable environment ripe for rebellion. In that chaos, Seth Rollins and his Vision faction began to push harder against Reigns, bringing in Reed and Breaker as muscle, and using their combined force to systematically weaken the tribal chief. Each ambush left Reigns looking vulnerable, each stolen sneaker made him appear dethroned, and each taunt from the tribal thief chipped away at the aura of invincibility Reigns had built over years of dominance. Analysts speculated that Reed's antics were not only designed to elevate him into main event conversations but also to serve Rollins' larger strategy of dismantling Reigns piece by piece, breaking down the image of the tribal chief so that when Rollins finally faced him, he would be a diminished figure. WWE insiders even tied Reed's sneaker-stealing gimmick to his push for relevance, with many pointing out that mocking Reigns was the fastest way to get heat and to make his name resonate with the crowd on a global scale. On the August 18, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw live from Chicago, Illinois, the saga finally hit its boiling point. The night opened with Rollins and his Vision faction in the ring, with Reed proudly holding up Reigns' stolen Jordans, mocking him in front of the crowd, declaring that he, not Reigns, was the true king, the true tribal figure, and that these sneakers were his crown. The crowd rained boos and chants of, "You suck," as Breaker laughed and Rollins smirked, knowing they were pushing every emotional button possible. Just when it seemed like another night of humiliation for Reigns, the arena lights dimmed, the familiar opening chords of his entrance music hit, and the place absolutely exploded as Roman Reigns stormed down the ramp with Jacob Fatu at his side, the Og bloodline charging like warriors into battle. The reaction was deafening, Chicago erupting into chants of, "Acknowledge me." As Reigns slid into the ring, speared Bronson Reed so hard it looked like the ring shifted, snatched his sneakers back from Reed's hands, and then drove a Superman punch into Braun Breaker's jaw that sent him crashing to the mat. Jacob Fatu followed up with a devastating Samoan drop on Dominic Mysterio, who tried to interfere but ended up flattened. The image that followed will be replayed for years, Roman Reigns, standing tall in the middle of the ring, holding his reclaimed Jordans above his head before lacing them back on right there in front of the WWE Universe, a symbolic coronation of himself as the one and only tribal chief, a man whose legacy cannot be mocked, whose dominance cannot be stolen, and whose respect must always be acknowledged. The aftermath was immediate and chaotic. Raw general manager Adam Pearce wasted no time in booking Roman Reigns vs. Bronson Reed for the August 25 edition of Raw in what is already shaping up to be a no disqualification grudge match, with Jacob Fatu rumored to face Braun Breaker on the same night. Rollins, visibly rattled backstage, vowed retaliation and hinted at using the new bloodline, featuring Jey Uso, Zayn, and Zilla Fatu, to interfere, further fueling speculation that Raw next week could explode into all-out war. Online, the segment went viral within minutes, with clips of Reigns reclaiming his sneakers hitting over 3 million views on YouTube in under 12 hours, while hashtags like #TribalChiefReturns, #SneakerSaga, and #AcknowledgeMe trended worldwide. Analysts at Wrestling Observer and Bleacher Report noted that the moment wasn't just a clever angle but a calculated move by WWE to reassert Reigns' dominance, remind fans of his larger-than-life presence, and push Reed into the spotlight as a legitimate heel whose antics now have real consequences. But beyond the spectacle of sneakers, this moment ties directly into the fractured landscape of WWE right now. The Anoa'i family war is tearing the bloodline apart, with Reigns' Og bloodline featuring Jacob Fatu colliding with Solo Sikoa's MFT and the new bloodline led by Jey Uso, Zayn, and Zilla Fatu. Rollins' Vision faction is using Reed and Breaker as battering rams to weaken Reigns, while Moxley's return adds chaos, and Brock Lesnar's attack on Cena has shifted the balance of Raw even further into uncertainty. By reclaiming his sneakers, Reigns didn't just get back his property, he sent a statement to Rollins, Reed, Breaker, and anyone else who thought he could be mocked, stripped of his identity, or dethroned without consequence. He reminded the world that everything he represents, family, culture, dominance, legacy, is not to be stolen or played with. Looking ahead, the possibilities are massive. August 25 Raw will see Reigns and Reed finally clash one-on-one, with fans already predicting carnage, interference, and chaos. WWE insiders are hinting at a 6-man tag showdown at the September 20 premium live event where Reigns, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn could face Rollins, Reed, and Breaker, and speculation is already swirling about Survivor Series potentially hosting a War Games match that pits the Og bloodline against the Vision and the new bloodline in a battle for dominance that could define WWE's future. Long-term, the seeds are being planted for WrestleMania 42, where Reigns could collide with either Rollins or even Moxley in a match that would symbolize closure to years of chaos, betrayal, and legacy warfare. So while some fans may laugh at the idea of a feud built around stolen sneakers, the reality is this: Bronson Reed's tribal thief gimmick struck at the heart of Roman Reigns' identity, mocking the pride of the tribal chief and attempting to strip him of respect. But on this night in Chicago, Reigns turned that insult into fuel, took back what was his, and reminded the world that no matter the alliances, no matter the betrayals, and no matter the chaos that surrounds WWE, he will always be the tribal chief, and when the dust settles, everyone, whether it's Reed, Rollins, Breaker, or the fractured Anoa'i family, will have no choice but to acknowledge him.